Hello and welcome to our crafting session. My name's Jenny McCormac. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire, and that is in the UK. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's Thursday the 4th of September 2025 and our stamp set of the week this week is called Joyful Tidings. It's this one here that you see in the centre. If you watched my live on Monday or you subsequently watch it on YouTube, then this is a follow-on to a stepped up version. On Monday we created this card here. So a very simple Christmas design. Hi Caroline. Using just 2 stamps from the set. So this beautiful pot wreath here. And then I've used the text Peace, Hope and Joy. But obviously you can use any other sentiments you've got, or you could use any of the others in the set. So we've got Tidings of Joy this Christmas season, we've got Believe, we've got Noel, May the wonder and magic of Christmas fill you with delight. I did a couple of other samples ready for coffee and card, one of which of course I can't put my fingers on at the minute, but let me show you those. So I did this one as a sympathy card. So I've used our very vanilla cardstock to stamp on, and I just stamped the simpler wreath, this one here, or part wreath, and I stamped it in Secret Sea, a lovely deep blue colour, so it's like a blue black, and layered that onto Secret Sea, and that will then go onto a card base. I did this one at Coffee and Card as a sample on Tuesday, so very similar to my original one. I also did a sample where I stamped this around the edge, like some banners on either side, and then a big sentiment in the middle, and that's the one that I can't find. So I will pop that up in the post as an image on there. So I'm going to just step this up a little bit this evening, and I'm going to add in some designer paper. So I've chosen to use this from Elegant Pine. So it's got a Secret Sea backing, and then it's got pieces of pine, it's got some little holly berries and holly as well. This is going to go onto a base white card, and one of the samples in the catalogue had this element on the right and the left, and then a circle die cut in the middle here. So I'm going to give that a go. I'm going to stamp this and fussy cut it, and then I also have cut out a cherry cobbler layer. Now this might be too big to layer it up with that, but we'll have a look. I didn't want this to be too small, but if needs be I could go down a size or use a smaller punch. So I'm just going to put those to one side for the minute. So I'm going to stamp this and colour it in first. I've got some of those little retired red dots. So I've got the stamp ready, and here's my block, and I'm just going to stamp this twice and fussy cut and do a little bit of colouring, so I'll try not to take too long. I was thinking you could also stamp this in any of our light colours, so you could stamp it onto basic beige, you could stamp it onto soft sea foam for example. So let's do 2 of these, and obviously you could use the simpler version as well. I did and ah whether to do this on the autumn papers or the Christmas papers, because I think it would work well with either. So I hope you've had a good day, Caroline. I'm just looking at the sky, which is so black out there, but it's beautiful sunshine coming from the other direction, so who knows. Right, let's do a quick amount of colouring in. So we've got some colours here that I can follow. We've got a little bit of granny apple green, a little bit of shaded spruce. Obviously we've got some red that you could use for the little berries. So let's just do some of that really quickly. I've got dark granny apple. Do need to take my glasses off. So just going to do a quick amount. Now I may not need to do all the way around if I cover it up. You can guarantee if I stop and leave a little bit, it will be in the wrong place. Okay, so just quickly doing these pine pieces. So we'll be doing this at Coffee and Card in Brackley tomorrow. Let's just do those. Help everybody get a start on their Christmas cards. There we go. And then these ones here. You can guarantee I've missed something on there. It's usually what happens. That's those there. And then this one. I think you could also stamp this on a pale piece of backing paper. So some of our backing paper's got a very pale side, and I think that would work as well if you didn't want it completely white. And I'm going to fussy cut literally just round the edges. I'm not going to do it. Oh, can't see me coming in. Oh, I see. Yes, that'll be why. Thank you. I've moved my camera. I'm hoping you can see now. Thank you, Caroline. That's why it's so useful to be able to see the comments. Right, that's those ones there. Let me know that that's better. Right. And of course round here all the schools have, I think all of the schools have gone back now. So after the long summer break, everybody's getting back to a level of normality. I think the first week back everybody's just recovering. Thank you, Caroline. I've obviously moved my camera back. Trying to do it as quick as I can. And then a quick bit of fussy cutting, and then I'll play with the layout. If you didn't want to fussy cut, I guess if you had a big enough circle, punch or die, you could use that just round the edge. It might cut off a few little bits and pieces, but what's the date today? The 4th. Goodness. There we go. Right, I think that's all my greenery. Just going to do those pine cones. Yes, as long as I've got those down there we can see them. And that one. That one. And that, so it's 5 pine cones and 3 slices of oranges. So there's no dies for these, which I was quite surprised about actually, because it would be a nice one to die cut, but I guess there's only 2 elements, so it probably doesn't warrant that many dies. Hi Monica and hi Fran, thank you both for joining us. So this is Joyful Tidings, if you haven't seen it before, from our September to December catalogue. Like so there's 3 of those. It makes for really quite a sophisticated Christmas card when it's stamped just on its own, I think. And especially as you can add Wink of Stella, so you've got some background detail, and you could also use glitter and bling. Okay, just doing that all in one, just for speed as much as anything. Okay, that will do. So just to show you the cards from earlier in the week if you didn't see these. So this is just a straight sympathy card, a Christmas card, and another Christmas card. And on this one I also stamped it on the inside and on the envelope as well. Okay, so this is how it's going to go. This is my layer here. Now I might change that paper. And then I may or may not have this layer with my things behind, and then a smaller white layer. And the only reason I'm hesitating is because I've got orange pieces here and there's no orange in this background paper. So I'm just wondering whether to pick out some autumn papers instead, because these are going to match colour for colour. But quite a big bold print really, isn't it? Occasion Craze would work actually behind it. And the green would also work. That would work because it's got the gold and the orange stripe. I hope you're well, Fran. Got that one with a little bit of gold. That's a bit too bold. Quite tempted with that, which I could just switch out for a piece of, I might just switch out for a piece of Occasion Craze and I could stamp over it. So let me fussy cut it, and see how that goes. Sorry, I hope you're able to see those colours. Right, let me find my pair of scissors that I put out very carefully. There they are. So I'm just going to very quickly fussy cut this. I'm not going to go into all of this detail because life's too short and I don't have that much patience. You could also cut any of these little sprigs off if you wanted to. Just get rid of that little bit there. We've had weird weather today, showers and a little bit of thunder and then bright blue sun, blue skies rather, a bit of everything today. Typical English weather for us. Okay, just going to bring this in a little bit. Right, and this one. I could also use a blending brush to add a little bit of colour to the edges so they're not as white. So I'll see which background I end up using and then I'll decide if I need to do that. Okay, I'm not sure if I need to cut this middle bit out. Okay, there we go, this is good as done. Alright, there is one, so let's see how this is looking. Yeah, this is too big, I've decided, and that's better. I think this is better again, like so. So let's pop that up there. Let's cut the other one of these out. I'll be as quick as I can, I promise. And I don't think I need to cut the middle out particularly. I could cut a smaller circle out of the green and mount that onto the Cajun Craze. I'll have a look. Whiz around there. Much better with the orange, as Caroline, I would agree entirely. Okay, let's take a little bit more of this off. And I think what I might do is use a blending brush, maybe with just what I've got green on the brush, or soft sea foam or something. Okay. Take those pieces out of the way. Right, so I've abandoned that piece. And yeah, so let me grab, without running over any dog's ears, and if I can see it. There it is, right in front of me. So a green blending brush, piece of scrap paper, and this has got a little, not much, green on it. So I can use a reasonable amount of pressure on here by placing my hand directly on the head. Alright, so if you can see the difference. Just going to put it on a piece of white. So this is the one that I've added a little bit of colour to, and this is the one that I haven't. Oh, hello, Woody wants to join in. Okay, so it's just a little bit more subtle. Okay. I'm just going to add a little bit more green to that. Right, I'm going to use Old Olive, just slightly darker than the ink I've used. Okay. I didn't want to stamp on a dark green card because I knew the colours wouldn't really stand out, which is why I started with the white. Okay, like that. That feels better. It's a bit more, it's a bit less stark, isn't it? Okay. One. And that one. Okay, I think that will do for my colouring. Okay, let's have a look at the layers. So I'm going to have that, and I want a backing layer. And I've got this one here, which is Cajun Craze. That's definitely too busy and too big for that. But this pattern, which I think a bit like trees, is going in the wrong direction, and I don't want to cut too much of that way. I want to cut it that way. So I'm just going to grab a piece of Cajun Craze card and trim it down. To fit. I could also stamp, so this is going to be 14.35 by 10 centimeters for our standard sized layer for our A6 card. Okay, so that's going to go onto there. Oopsie-daisy. Okay, that one, not worrying about the fact that one is cut and the other isn't. Let's have a look at this one here. Right, so I do need to punch those little holes out. That would definitely work, unless I punch a cut a circle out first, and then a smaller circle. Right, let me have a look, see how much this measures. So this is just under 7 centimetres. So just for speed, I'm looking at the punches that I've got. So this is a 2 1/4 inch. So I'm just going to try that first. So I can spread that out as far as I want. Hopefully you can see that on there. Yes, you can. And then I'm just going to try, no, I think I probably need to do that. And then I've got a 2-inch circle punch. I'm actually going to punch it out this because this has got a mark on it on the side, so I might as well reuse that. Like so. Okay, that feels better. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp that pattern across the 4 corners. In espresso, and then layer that up. I'm just going to have a little gap in this corner. Like so. Hopefully you can see that. I probably need to re-ink this espresso ink pad. I might remember to do that before tomorrow. Okay, so now I've got that design sort of filling in the edges a little bit more. And then I've got this one here, this one here. Now I wish I hadn't cut out the middle, so I'm going to have to bring them in. There we go. Well, I could cut the other one out, I suppose, but I'm happy with that. And then we're going to have our sentiment in the middle. Let me bring that up so you can see that. Like so. Okay. Just checking that's the right measurement. So let's layer this together. Okay, let's put this on. I don't really have a right or a wrong way for this. So scribble across there. And line that up. I can hear Woody demolishing something, which is slightly worrying. Okay, so I think what I might do is put this bit together and then place it down. Because I want to be able to place it centrally. So that looks about right. So let's put that on there. And I'm bringing it in as far as I can get it without showing too much of that centre core. And then I'm going to attach this one here, like that. So I'm just going to put some glue on here, here, and here. So on the front of those, on the back of that, like so. I'm just doing it by eye. Hopefully that will look, yeah, fairly central. So I'm going to put this whole piece flat, and then I'm going to stamp my sentiment and have that raised up. And if I had a little bit of orange or Cajun craze or gold ribbon, I could add that behind my sentiment. Let's have a look. So let's put this flat down. Like so. So a complete change from my original, well, not complete change, but a fair change from my original plan. Certainly in terms of colour scheme. Okay, so there's that, and then somewhere here I've got my sentiment, and I think if this one will fit, I've got that one would do. May the wonder and magic of Christmas fill you with delight, and I might stamp that in Cajun craze. Hello Woody. Woody has returned. He's waiting for his walk. And I think we might be lucky. Okay, just putting this in the centre. Sorry if that's a little bit low for you to see, which it is. Just do that a little bit. Okay, that's our sentiment, and that's going to go up on dimensionals. Which I have placed here ready. There we go. As you can see them when you put the lines on the backings. There we go. Oh. I've got more than I wanted. Just using those up because I don't like a sticky dimensional left, because it sticks to everything then. So rather more dimensionals than I need. There we go. May the wonder and magic of Christmas fill you with delight. And obviously you could just use Happy Christmas or whatever sentiment you wanted. And there we go. There's our finished card. So I stamped this twice and fussy cut it. This is how it looks when it's just stamped as is. I coloured it in just with a few pens. I used a blending brush with some green on just to take this down a little tone so it wasn't quite as harsh against the background. Changed the background to Cajun Craze, but stamped these elements in the background too. And if I have some little orange or gold elements, I will add those. Let me have a quick look. It's not that I don't have them, it's a case of whether I can find them. Oh, these would do nicely. Okay. In this little packet here, these are from the In Colours, and we've got these lovely ones here. If you can see those, I'm going to work on there perfectly. So, am I going to put them on here? On here. I feel this is a little bit bare, so I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 here. There we go. They're not too tall, so it doesn't add too much height to that layer. So there we go. I can add Merry Christmas or Happy Christmas or Thinking of You on the inside. In the meantime, that is all done and dusted. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any queries or questions on what I've created, then don't hesitate to pop a comment in the box, either here on Facebook or on YouTube, depending on where you're watching it. In the meantime, I know it's only Thursday night if you're watching live, but have a good weekend, and I look forward to crafting with you on Monday, when we'll be back with a new stamp set of the week. Thank you so much for joining me and supporting me. Thank you, Fran and Caroline, and anybody else who's watching, Monica, anybody else who's watching live. Thank you for joining me. Have a great time. Look after yourselves and your loved ones, and I hope you can keep crafting. Bye for now.